Hi everybody, good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. Today is May 25th, 2026. And it is Monday. So it is Monday, I guess we'll call evening. It is 3:45. So it's 15 minutes to 4 p.m. So I'm out here on this beautiful Memorial Day so far, but I do see some really dark clouds. So it rained Saturday, it rained Sunday, it rained just about all day today, and it stopped raining probably about, I'm going to say 12 o'clock. Probably about 11, 12 o'clock. And it started drying up a little bit. So after work, I decided to go for a ride. It got warm out. It was chilly this morning. But I'm glad it turned out to be somewhat of a decent day, because it wouldn't be a good day unless I'm on my bike. And it's a good night because I am, and a good day because I am on my bike. So, I live in the state of New Jersey. As you should know this by now from all my other videos. And, wow, look at all the water leaking in this joint. So, right in the face. Right down my glasses and in my head. So I was thinking, well, not thinking. So they say the healthiest spot for a lithium battery is 80%. So they say if you try to keep your battery at 80%, you will get longevity out of the battery. So they do say the 20-80 rule, which was really weird, is I never really thought of it that way. So somehow or another, I try to keep my battery. They say keeping it fully charged is actually not good for it. They say if you charge your battery fully, don't let it sit. And if you do charge your battery to 100%, be sure to use it. That's what they say. I'm gonna have to wipe my glasses off. I got water all over them from that bridge. So they say 20-80, the 20-80 rule. So no more than 20, I never depleted my battery no more than 20%. The most I've ever depleted my battery, I think, was maybe 50%, halfway. So they say after every ride, if you don't go far or just using it normally, keep your battery, or even if you do charge it, just bring it to 80%. Don't give it a full charge. So they say a life expectancy of a lithium ion, I've heard 3 to 5 years. So within those 3 to 5, I'm pretty sure within 3 years, you're going to be noticing a dip in your power curve. Just in 3 years, and depending on how much you charge your battery, you're going to notice a significant amount of power loss. But I guess Tesla is coming out with these batteries now where they're supposed to be safer, lighter, and I think they're supposed to store more power than the lithium ion. Not quite. Oh yeah, and charging time is like cut down more than in half. But I also want to throw out there that, do you know they do have a battery out there that never needs to be charged? It's just that a lot of these bike manufacturers just don't have, I guess, their hands on this kind of technology yet, but I'm quite sure they will in time. So yeah, rule of thumb is they say 20-80. So don't deplete your battery no more than 20%. And when you do charge it, don't charge it no more than 80%. Keep it within those ranges. And they said that'll be for a healthy lithium ion. All right. So I am on my e-bicycle tonight. Beautiful looking bike. And I checked my voltage before I left. I think it was like 56.5 or 56.2. So it's about, I'm going to say a little bit more than 80%. So it was probably about 85% charged. I gave it a full charge on, I believe it was over the weekend. And they say avoid trying to do full charges. Alright, so on this charge, so far I've almost got 20 miles. And I had hitting over 700 miles on this bike. That was just my max speed, and we're at like 56. That's voltage sag, so we are above 56 volts. Not bad. So I got 20 miles on this charge and still have 80% battery capacity left. So if I used in 10 miles, actually no, in 20 miles, I used 20% battery. So every 10% of my battery capacity, I can get 10 miles. So if this is a 32 amp hour battery, yeah, I can see me on a full charge, I can probably get over 40 miles using just a single motor, which is pretty good. I never took this bike out on a full run to see how many miles I can get out of it. So I'm thinking rear motor only. If I can get 10 miles out of every amp hour, or I mean 10 miles out of 10% battery, you know, it's hard to say. You know, it's body weight, it's how much you pedal, how much you throttle, it's how your tires. So last night, or actually Friday, I should say. Friday, I checked my tire pressure, or I thought I did, and I bought my tires all the way up to 20 pounds to make sure they were perfect. So before I left for tonight's ride, so the last time I checked my tires was probably 3 days ago, and my tires lost like 3 pounds of tire pressure within 3 days. So yeah, I lost a pound of tire pressure each day. So these fat tires, they do lose air. And, you know, it depends on how warm it is. So my apartment was kind of cool. So I'm pretty sure that would have an effect. Just like cold weather does to a tire. It shrinks. Oh yeah, I can tell I got the amount of air just by the way I'm rolling here. And also by the way I can pedal without any pedal assist. She rolls pretty good. So yeah, rule of thumb is, if you want a healthy lithium ion battery, they say to try to keep it at 80%. Don't fully charge it. And if you do fully charge it, be sure to use all the battery capacity as much as possible so you can at least store it back at 75 to 80%. And what I've noticed is sometimes I'll go a whole entire week without even charging my bike, which is healthy for the battery, because I believe even though you're just topping your battery off, it counts as a full cycle. I believe it counts as one full cycle on your battery on a charge. I don't know, lithium ion's kind of, it's a chemistry. It's definitely a work of art, that's for sure. I'd really love to know how to build my own. I would love to learn how to build my own battery, for sure. So anyway, happy Memorial Day, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, and we are out here. It got kind of warm out, it's beautiful. The sun's peeking in and out here and there, and what's better day than go for a ride on your electric bike? And I did work today, of course. I don't ever take a day off, only on the weekends. I have the weekends to myself. And even sometimes on a weekend I wish I had another job, because I have time for another job. And I like doing YouTube. And I don't mind little side hustles. Side hustles are good. Turn in here a second. So I did pump my shock up a little more. So I noticed when I stand up and pedal, my body weight would make the shock compress a little too much. So I brought it up to 95 pounds, 95 PSI in my D&M A06, I believe it's called, air shock. So now it's pretty good. And as I mentioned, so the worst thing you can do for your battery range is, as I fall over, worst thing you can do is to not have your tires properly inflated. And they also say, be careful with the amount of accessories. So all the weight on your bike will cut back on battery capacity of how many miles you can get out of your bike. So remember, all the things, all the accessories on your handlebars, your bags, depending on what you're bringing with you, you know, it's going to cut back on how many miles you can get out of your bike, of course. And you know, to begin with, these bikes aren't light. They're pretty heavy. So I believe I don't know if it's just the weight of the bike or if they weighed it with the battery, but when I bought this bike, they said it was 88 pounds. And I believe that's with the battery. But I don't know if that's counting the rear rack, the bag on it, and all the accessories I put on this thing. So this bike has probably got to be reaching 100 pounds easily. With all the extras. You know, your phone holder, your phone, the mirrors, the extra light up front, the extra bar extension. Oh yeah, this bike is 100 pounds. So hopefully we don't get caught in the rain here tonight. It don't look too good down this way. I guess we're gonna find out. We had a lot of rain. So you might as well say it rained almost 3 days straight. So at least we're having a good year rain-wise. The past 2 summers, it's been really dry out here. But this year, I guess we're having a normal year for rainfall. So anyway, back to the bike. This is not a torque sensor. This bike is cadence. So the minute you start rotating the pedals, it engages the motor, starts giving you power. But also, it's kind of a slow start with the controller. So like, if you hit the throttle from a dead stop, it'll take off gradually. But now if you rotate the pedals and hit the throttle again before the screen zeroes out, like that, it kicks right in. So I'm going to show you here. Got a car behind me. Get to the stop sign. Actually, even when I get to this, when I get to the stop sign. Alright, so if we stop totally, let my screen zero out. I'm going to put it in pedal assist too. Now watch how smooth. See how smooth? So now if I hit it again, it's still smooth. So it's kind of like a safety feature they locked into the controller. Hear that motor work up the hill a little bit. I was using the pedal assist. So as I was mentioning in a lot of my videos, this is my favorite electric bike. And I thought about if I buy another one, I was thinking about buying the same kind. What really caught my eye was Segway, that new Segway bike. Man, I saw video on that last night. And it had like an 80 amp hour battery, 72 volts. I think the man said his first top speed he had it up to was almost 79 or 78 miles an hour. That thing's nice. But you're talking, you know, so if you built it yourself, you're talking like $8,000. But you can probably build yourself a nice electric bike for cheaper than that. You know, using the regular bike frame or something. Kind of like e-bike guy does. And you know, if you were to do that, it would be worth to get into building batteries. You have to buy so much equipment though to get into battery building. And you really got to know what you're doing. Gonna coast down this hill, see what we can get. $29. $27. Dropping back down. So I'm in pedal assist 0, and you can pedal this bike on flat ground. I'm doing it right now, and I'm maintaining about 10 miles, 10 miles an hour. So mind you, I am light, and I am a pretty strong little guy, that's for sure. Wow, look at the clouds. I said at least we got some brakes now, so maybe it'll clear up. Hi! Little boy's like, hey, Dad, I want one of those. So now, what's really, really not right is, as I mentioned before on my channel, that I got into these bikes because I had a total hip joint replacement, and I got into these bikes to kind of to build some strength and some muscle back into my legs, because I found it really hard to pedal a regular bike. I mean, I did it for years, and these bikes allow you to go a greater distance without getting to your destination all sweated up and half dead from pedaling. So you're still putting in the effort, but not as much, and it's just funner. And not only that, it's going to affect a lot of handicapped people who rely on trikes, scooters, electric wheelchair, all like people who are disabled and people who are also unable to get a license because of a disability. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair at all. especially for the younger generation who have, I believe there's a woman, I think her channel name is Jessie's E-Rides, and she has a bike shop, and her son, he has autism, and he rides a trike, and if they pass this law here in New Jersey, he is unable to get a license. So, and I don't think that's fair, because I understand where his heart is into that bike, because his heart is where mine is. I love this hobby. I absolutely am in love with my bicycle. I'm sorry, and I'm going to tell you again, I love my e-bikes. I have a passion for it, and there's no way that there is no one ever going to say to me, oh, you can't go for a bike ride. Like, it's a bicycle. This isn't an e-moto. This isn't something that can go 1,000,000 miles an hour. This is a mountain bike. This is something that helps assist me because of the weight and the size and the things that I carry. And you know, it's my passion. It's my hobby. And you know, to put those laws upon us because of an accident that a child had on an e-moto. He had no experience. He never even drove a car in his life. And I'm pretty sure his mom and dad, or his mom, bought him an e-moto. And he ended up, I guess, becoming, you know, deceased from this accident because he had no experience. You know, you just can't jump on. It's like getting in a NASCAR and saying, oh yeah, I can race Mario Andretti around the track in that car and keep up with him. And no, it isn't like that. Don't think that you're going to do 100 miles an hour and think you're going to walk away, because it's not like that. You got to be cautious. You got to keep an eye out at all times. And you have to watch what that other person is doing, because chances are that other person is going to run you over, especially if they're in a car. And like I said before, if you go out for a ride on the back road and you're by yourself, chances are you're going to get back up. But if a car comes by and runs you over, chances are you're not going to get back up. So you see what I'm saying? Because anytime there's a car involved, you're going to get a severe head injury. So we're just looking at this tree right here. It must have fell from the rainstorm we had. You can see right there in the woods, right where it snapped off. You can see it right there. So they call that, I believe when a tree falls in the woods, that's called a snag. So that is beneficial to the environment. Worms, bugs, woodpeckers, insects, rabbits, skunks, squirrels. You know, it has its causes. And you know, also when a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Philosophy, right? Kind of like when you open your refrigerator door at home. When you shut the door, does that little light go off? Let's see if we can creep over this baby. and creep on up this sucker. So yeah, these bikes they have their place, you know. Don't take them away from us. Especially for guys who, I'm not saying for guys that had DUIs or anything like that. I'm saying for people who are disabled or who have autism or who have some sort of disability and they are unable to get a license. So now this eliminates these people or these children and kids who love their bikes. So you know you're going to break a lot of hearts by doing this. And you got to learn to respect not only the road, but the people around you. And you got to know when and where and how. And you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And as I mentioned before, there are so many people out here right now who have a license. And just because they have a license doesn't mean that they should be on the road. Because I've seen a lot of people who have no consideration for not only the road, but not even the pedestrians or somebody walking or even a guy like me on his bike. And you know, the rule of thumb is when you're passing a bicyclist, I believe you're supposed to leave 2 feet or more. So last week I was doing a video and I had this guy pass me. In his car. It was just up here around the bend. And when he passed me, he must have been like 6 inches away from me. And yeah, I don't have a helmet on right now because I wasn't planning on going too fast. Just a little cruise around. But you know, you gotta be cautious. And people just, I don't know. People don't care at all. They don't care about you on your bike. They don't care about you walking. All they care about is where they gotta get to go. Everybody's in a rush. There's no love no more. It's just, the world is in a bad place right now. The world is in a really bad place. And it's just crazy to see the United States to where it is today. And I don't know, the prices of gas. Gas at my station is $4.49. 2 weeks ago, I was $4.55 a gallon for regular. You know, gas back in the 60s and 70s, you know, it was 20, 30, 40 cents. 80s and 90s, alright, it reached $1.50, $1.75. Then it started reaching, after the 90s were over, then it started reaching over $3. 2010 rolls in, now we're up to $3.54, $3.65, and here we are, 2026, and gasoline is just shy of $5 a gallon. So I believe as the future progresses, things are going to continue to get inflated. The middle class, we've all been pushed out. There is no more middle class. We all are considered lower class. unless you are doing really, really well for yourself and you have a company or some sort of great job that requires a high tech. I mean, it's hard today. And I don't know how some families and some of these Americans have these beautiful homes and all these cars, and I don't know how they do it. Back to my road. So what I'm saying is, what a hole. You know, stay strong, don't ever give up. And what is meant for you will be for you. Stay on your path, stay sober, don't drink, don't use drugs, you know, keep a good head on your shoulders, be smart with your money, because money is very hard to get today. I work very hard for my money, and believe me, if I told you what I make an hour, you would laugh at me and say, what are you, out of your mind? In the state of New Jersey, minimum wage is over $15 an hour. And if I told you what I make an hour, you would be like, I would quit that job the first day. Huh. So, back in the 90s, I was making more than what I am right now. The early 2000s, I had a 5-bedroom farmhouse. You know, I had 3 cars, 2 trucks. 2 cars, and I believe I had 2 trucks at the time. I had 4 vehicles. Now I don't even have a car. And the reason that being is because we got a deer running across the street. There he goes. There's no way that I'm going to pay $5 a gallon for gasoline. I would rather buy myself a good meal than to put gas in my car if I had one. And that's another reason why I got into these bikes. There's no way that I would be able to afford to drive. But car insurance, the price of gas, wear and tear on your car, the tires, oil changes, if it breaks down, and you got registration, you got to pay your insurance. Whoa! There's no way. I would need 3 jobs just to support myself. And I live alone, I rent. And God, how I wish, I always thought back how I always didn't want to rent. I always wanted to own my own home. But I don't see that happening. It's just, I'm trying the best I can. Whatever little money I got, I try to be happy. And what made me happy and gave me a lot of confidence and self-esteem are these bikes. Alright, so let's do a dual motor run. How's that? 30, 36, 40, downhill, alright, we hit over, I think over 43 or about 43. So this bike is not fully charged, probably about 75%. So just about every time I brake, I apply pressure to the back brake first, then I gradually squeeze the back brake with the front one. So that way both brakes are working simultaneously and adding the amount of pressure. So it's all control and knowing. It's knowing your body, knowing your bike, knowing the ground, knowing your speed. So, you know, not all that comes naturally. And it's having that ability. And the, how do I say, the knowing. You gotta know. The experience. So even right now at 20 miles an hour, if I fell off without a helmet, I can crack my head open just like that. It's like being in a tub of water. You could be in an inch and a quarter, inch and a half of water in your tub and you can drown. You can literally drown in an inch of water. So let's not go there, I guess. So yeah, these bikes have built a lot of confidence within myself. I've always had a lot of confidence. And not only that, I can be sitting at home right now just bored out of my mind, like most Americans are right now, or I can be out here enjoying this beautiful planet that God put us on for us to enjoy and to live and to flourish off of. So I'd rather be out here. On a beautiful day like today, I'd rather be outside than to be inside. So I guess my topic tonight is to keep a good battery healthy. Stand by the 20-80 rule. Do not deplete your battery no more than 20% when you use it. And also, between charges, try to only bring it up to 80%, maybe 85%. I've even heard of people bringing it up to close to 90%. And if you do bring it up to a full charge, be sure to use it within the next day. Don't let it sit there for a week or two. It's highly dangerous as well. Alright, so we're going to cut the video off here. Let me get off this beast. Like I said all my other videos, be sure to put your bike in pedal assist 0 when you're getting off, so an accident doesn't happen. So on this charge, so far we've gone, let's see, I'm about to get into the, maybe a little bit into the shade here, there we go. So on this charge, let's get here a little better maybe. We've gone 25.9. So we'll call that 26 miles. We now have over 713 miles. My top speed tonight, with probably 80% battery, was 42.8. Average speed of 10.9. and we're sitting at 53.3 volts. So 53.3 volts, I'm pretty sure that would bring us down to what, probably 70% charged. And mind you, that is still battery sag. So we're going to call that this bike is still 75% charged. So in 25% battery, we went 25 miles. So there's no doubt in my mind on a full charge that on this bike you should be able to get 50 miles just using the back motor. So now if you use both motors, I'm going to say maybe 30 miles, maybe a little more. All right, thank everyone for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Everyone have a great Memorial Day weekend. Until next time, peace. Thanks for watching.